Hi, my field project was centered around RTI implementation, which is the reason that I was hired for this position at Scales. So I'm the math coach, and the majority of my time is spent coaching teachers, intervening with teachers, testing students, and then preparing and implementing data meetings. I'm going to talk a little bit in the presentation about how we got to where we are and why we decided to focus on math fact fluency for our students here at Scales. So our journey began with Ames Web testing in the fall. We prepared for data meetings. We brought information, the coach, the literacy coach and I brought information to data meetings where we met with a lot of stakeholders. So all of our coaches, our counselors, our specialists, our psychologists, our administration, and we spent time with each grade level talking about data that we gathered from Ames Web and where we wanted to go from there. So with RTI implementation, RTI means response to intervention, and the majority of our work should be done in Tier 1, but then we have Tier 2 for students that need intervening within the classroom for with teachers doing the intervening and with coaches doing the intervening. We want kids to get what they need out of Tier 1 instruction. Sometimes kids need a little bit of extra in Tier 2 instruction before we decide if we need to do further testing to identify issues or for Tier 3. So what we did in those data meetings was we dug down deeply and landed on the fact that our students at Skills needs a little bit more help in math fact fluency to be able to increase their scores, but then to be able to help them as they move through the grade levels with solving multi-step problems and just to be quicker in that math fact fluency. So we drilled down and that's where we landed. So the majority of my time this semester spent in the schools was implementing math fact fluency practices in different grade levels. So we know that transforming a school building is not just about the physical space, but it's about creating that environment where there's collaboration and where teachers feel supported. So I feel like the stakeholder map helped me figure out who I was going to keep informed, who I was going to manage closely, who I was going to keep satisfied, and who I was going to monitor. So at the point when I wrote my paper, my 5th grade team had already began math fact fluency with I call them fluency mamas, but with my fluency parents. So then I decided that I needed to monitor 3rd grade because they also showed interest in implementing math fact fluency, which we have done that now. Managing closely would be my 4th grade team. They showed a little bit of interest, but then they jumped in right after 3rd grade. So we implemented math fact fluency practice in 5th grade, then 3rd grade, and then 4th grade. My other grade levels that I'm just keeping informed as to what we're doing have already started a math fact fluency program that I didn't start myself, but the prior math coach had things in order, and she and our literacy coach got that going pretty early on in August, which one of the things I found out today is that our students are showing a lot of growth in their math fact fluency. So I do feel like that's a variable that's helping us to grow. This is our 5th grade math fact fluency plan, and the reason that we have this document is that I created something that I felt like my teachers could benefit from in helping them to understand what math fact fluency was going to look like in their grade levels. So if you look at the blue slides, those are the slides that me and my admin and my literacy coach shared at our parent university at the beginning of the year. And so they knew that this was coming and that we were going to be rolling this out. So I decided to focus on a fluency standard, a goal, and then I created this bullet point slide so that my parent volunteers would understand what they would be doing when they came into my classroom. So if you walked into my classroom, you would see buckets with teachers' names on them. You would see envelopes. This document would be in the envelope, but I thought this was the best way to present what my math fact fluency plan looks like in 5th grade. So one of the things I've learned in this leadership class is that it goes along with my quote here, where we know that we can lead without authority as leaders, with our expertise and our organizational understanding, so that we don't have to go in and take over and start telling people what to do. And I thought it was neat that my 5th grade teachers started this with our volunteers, and then I felt like my other grade levels saw what we were doing and saw that it was working and that students were growing and the parents were enjoying being into the building, and so 3rd grade jumped in and then 4th grade jumped in. So this document here just is kind of an at a glance, so that when my volunteers come in, I don't have to train everyone all the time. I can free myself up to go do other things and delegate this out, or just have this in the envelopes for parents to see.